More than 1,000 civilians have died in Izium and 80% of infrastructure is destroyed? City councilor.
Here's a summary of the article.
At least 1,000 civilians died while under Russian occupation in Izium, Kharkiv Oblast, and 80% of the city's infrastructure has been destroyed. A member of Izium City Council, at a briefing at Media Center Ukraine, Ukrinform. Quote from Strelnikov. On 10 September, the blue and yellow flag of Ukraine was hoisted in Izium again, thanks to the armed forces of Ukraine. Details. Strelnikov said that the effect of the war on the city of Izium had been devastating. As Valery Marchenko, the mayor of Izium, noted, more than 80% of the city's entire infrastructure has been destroyed, including private houses and apartment buildings, and enterprises, state institutions, city-owned facilities, as well as industrial facilities. This is true. Unfortunately, the city has been destroyed. The worst thing is that winter is ahead, and the central heating system has been destroyed, he added. Quote, according to the information we have, at least 1,000 local residents died as a result of the hostilities, but even more people suffered because they did not get timely medical assistance, since the Russian occupiers destroyed all the healthcare facilities in Izium back in March. Background. The city of Izium in Kharkiv Oblast has been occupied by Russian troops since 2 April 2022.
This post received a score of 5,900, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Without infrastructure, or without Russia. Without Russia, they will rebuild, with the help of many other nations, and at the end, they will have infrastructure, and not be controlled by Russia.
More than $300 billion of Russia's money is being held by the West in foreign exchange funds. Enough to get a pretty good start on the rebuild.
The cost has been estimated at $350 billion, so I'd say that's a great start.
Is that number just for the city? I've seen $1 trillion as an estimate by the Ukrainian government of the national war damage.
Every side inflates their everything numbers in a war. Not maliciously, just because they need to cover their bases.
Just wait until Mariupol. I really hope I'm wrong.
They bury bodies in the concrete there. I do not think you are wrong.
It's a good thing they did, too. They are basically preserving their war crimes for us to find when we kick their asses out.
Yeah, I can't imagine that was well thought out.
I imagine they thought they'd be on the winning side. Alas, the incompetence and corruption of their leaders and logistics people torpedoed their plans. I'm sure Putin's thrilled.
I hope when this is over they can start rebuilding those lost homes soon and start a normal life again. I wish them so much support and all the best they deserve.
Putin should be made to pay reparations on his way out of office.
I don't know how many checks one can write between the 6th floor and the ground.
The checks could bounce, but he probably won't.
Even a dead cat bounces when it hits the ground.
It's sick that in eastern Ukraine the population is mostly Russian-speaking and have cultural ties to Russia. And yet, they were the ones affected the most savagely by the Russians. When Ukraine eventually pushes the Russians out and reclaims their territory, the people left in those areas are going to be the most bitter against Russia.
Remember, the reason why there's so many Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine is because they were forcibly displaced, starved and replaced with Russian nationals via Stalin's campaign during World War II.
Both of my paternal grandparents were from eastern Ukraine and were displaced to the prairies of Canada as children in the 30s.
Most folks are considered adults in their 30s.
Time works differently in Canadian time.
As a Canadian, I confirm, it's been about 200 years since 2019.
Maybe a dumb question, but does all of this damage to infrastructure here impact all the other power, utility issues in other areas of the country? Namely Mariupol.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.